And the biggest concern now, of course, is in animation and video games. A lot of this can be created, the visuals can be created by AI. It's not perfect yet, of course. But they also want to do the same with voices. And we're actually trying to avoid AI taking over in that realm. And thankfully, because humans have to communicate on an emotional level, and best communicate on an emotional level, AI doesn't understand intention. And when we are speaking with intention, our subtext is our subtext, and AI can't really replicate subtext. It can replicate words, sounds, pitch, pace, tone, melody, volume, that sort of thing, but it can't replicate intentions.
You can already hear it in some of the voice. You can hear it in some of the commercial work now. You can hear it's AI, but a lot of people, a lot of advertisers, a lot of people who are buying ads in that space are turning more and more to it. They feel more comfortable in some ways with a corporate voice. It depends on what you're applying it to. I do know you can create like online videos, animated videos that have AI voices in them already. You write the script and it'll voice it for you. And a lot of people are using that. So yes, the emotion isn't there right now, but it will be there. It's kind of inevitable that will be there. So
I want to continue to train voice actors and those who want to become voice actors to continue to speak, and not even voice actors, but also professionals, teachers, anybody who finds themselves in a position to communicate as a public speaker. I want to teach them to communicate more effectively and more emotionally. And actually, those two really are hand in hand, because if you want to be an effective speaker and get your message of your words across, it has to come from an emotional place and affect the listener emotionally. Now, when it's a highly affected voice, or very short phrases, okay, so if it's a series, this is where animation could get funky, and video games as well. If we're talking very short phrases and there's interaction between people or characters or roles that also are short phrases, you could theoretically, I think it will be easier to replace those voices because you can give them just the short intent that they need, especially when there's back and forth conversation.
I don't think in podcasting, it's that the vocal issue with that the what's the word I'm looking for? The potential danger that is seen in voiceover acting, voiceover narration, whether it's audiobooks, advertisements, or voice acting, that does not exist in podcasting because podcasts are singularly hosted. Nobody is going to have an AI hosted podcast. It doesn't make sense to do that. First of all, most podcasts are individually curated, reported, written, voiced, produced. Nobody is going to go through the effort to do the reporting, this and whatever, and then somehow do a data dump of all their reporting or their interview, dump it in and have some AI generated voice up top. It just literally doesn't make sense to do that, even though it's technically possible. It doesn't make it just on a pragmatic level, on an economic level. Using AI voices for podcasting, unless you're specifically wanting, let's say you're doing a fictional podcast. Let's just say you are. And you create a character that's a bot. Okay. You might have an area where you might want an AI generated voice because you want it to sound AI generated to some degree. But I don't see how in the creative world where AI voices can play any real threat, just because I don't see what the motivation is to apply it.
of course, we know that there's nefarious people everywhere, and particularly in that side of the world right now, that are trying to be deceptive and that are trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, so to speak, and also just saying, don't believe your own eyes or ears or all those things. So there's always going to be people that are unable to make sense. I should have brought water. To make sense of certain things. They're not necessarily equipped to decipher truth from what's false or what's conspiracy or theory